Hello and welcome to our Wednesday Wisdom interview with Independent Sales Director Beth Curcio. Beth, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Have you had a good day so far?
Great day. Good morning to everyone.
Fantastic. Well, if you're ready, we'll go ahead and get started.
Okay, go ahead.
So Beth, what inspired you to join Mary Kay?
Just the extra money. I was a kid. I was like 21, 22 years old, and it was Mary Kay who, Mary Kay what, but someone came in town. I live in Pennsylvania, and there wasn't much Mary Kay. And I watched the money just change hands, and I thought, that looks kind of nice. So about a month later, when I finally got the girl to tell me what she made, per hour and thing, I was like, hey, and I drove to Maryland for my training. So it was exciting.
Oh my goodness. So as an independent beauty consultant, what were your goals and how have they changed as your business has grown?
When you're that young, I don't really think, I was totally money motivated at that moment. But also, I was always a people person. People are my vitamin. I have to see people all the time or I go out of my mind. Um, so I think that sitting in an office, I worked for the phone company at the time, was Bell, Pennsylvania, but I went to school to become a court reporter. And that was so boring. I just thought I would just knock myself in the head for 30 or 40 years, and I didn't want to do that. Plus, I wanted my priority to be a family, and I have 4 grown children and 5 grandchildren now. So I just kind of got into it for the extra money, and then it kept blossoming and blossoming for me.
So has your life changed in any other ways since joining the Mary Kay community?
Oh, totally. After 36 years, I think we look at the journey and just the hope you always have, no matter what season of your life you go through. When you're young and you have the energy and, you're just a risk taker and everything else, you never see what is going to come creeping up in your life in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s. I had a mother that had a terrible stroke and I had to take care of her with her and my sisters. And my mom she is 90 now, and it's just amazing. She is paralyzed on the right-hand side, and we just rotated her for a year. She is now in a nursing home, and I think we had to put her in about 88. But she's never once complained, which is amazing. And so it enabled me to take my mom in. At the same time, I ended up having my marriage fall apart and became a single parent. So the Mary Kay community is just something that picks you up. I mean, you have to have a place to go to find your joy. You have to have a place to go where you hear other people's stories and you don't think you're special because you're not, because life just happens. And as part of our journey, we just keep going with life and loving the Lord and knowing that there is something bigger out there for us and changing people's lives. And hey, the product speaks for itself. I'm not going to tell you my age, but I've been in for 36 years,
Absolutely.
so it just gets better and better all the time. And again, you meet the most interesting people. You really do. And not just in the Mary Kay world, the customers that you come in contact. Some stay with you forever, some move on. It's just the way it is. And when you figure out Mary Kay is just a numbers game and really loving people and putting people first, it's a simple business. It truly is a simple business.
So it sounds like it's definitely afforded you the flexibility you needed in your life. What are some of the other benefits of running your own Mary Kay business?
You can be available for yourself and for the things you want to do and for others. I remember my friends working full time and then, my children would call and they forgot their lunch or something like that. And I could get there. I have a daughter that was a Division I softball player all the way through, in college, and then she was a Phillies ball girl. And I could get to her. I could get to her things, which was such a joy for me. And it was a joy. It's a joy for your children too. From the moment of, I remember them crawling in the boxes with the peanuts. You know what I mean? Or destroying the nail kit by me not watching them for 2 minutes and then them doing each other's nails. I have 2 girls 15 months apart, and then I have 2 boys that are bookends. They're 10 years apart. So it just is really kind of incredible. But it also gave me the outlet to get out and be with adults, because any mother knows that you don't even feel human after, a couple hours where you're talking to people instead of out being party or and going to different places to fill the time to find that joy. I was out making money. I remember coming home and gosh, that was in the 80s and the 90s and having $800 shows or $400 shows when the basic was, $36 to 60. And boy, that is a confidence builder. That really is thinking all these people are paying daycare and you're staying home. I literally at times only worked my business for 8 hours. I did not become a sales director till my third one, who I thought was my last one, was 14 months old. And I picked up my fourth child in a pink Cadillac, so which was 7 years later. So it just fits in that, whatever you want to. We say, Mary Kay, it's like having a glass of water with ice, and then you just pour the water in and it just goes where it needs to go, no matter what your time frame of life is, no matter what your journey. I work a lot more days now than I ever did, because people would say to me, I don't want to be out every night. Well, I was certainly not out every night. Would have loved that, but because you're spent by about when they're going to bed about 7. But your life just changes. So I do because I don't have any responsibilities now, which is woohoo.
So all of this being said, what would you say Mary Kay means to you?
It means everything. Mary Kay becomes a way of life. Once you get Mary Kay in your heart, you know that there is no better opportunity and no better opportunity. I did many things before I did Mary Kay, even at a young age. I tried another company because I was always searching for something. And I think the camaraderie we have in Mary Kay, the just bounce back ability that we learn, it really prepares you to be a mom. I'm telling you, this is being a mom, for those of you who have young children, you know it. It's a tough job. It's slave labor if you're home all day. So to have a little break in between and be able to fill your dreams and other ones, and hey, provide for your family. And as Mary Kay said, put your faith first, your family second, and then your career third. Is just, I don't know about you, but if my baby was sick, there is no way I could have been somewhere else for 8 hours. I saw my friends struggling with that, and I remember friends saying to me, do you think you could babysit for mine? I'm like, no, got 4. That's fine. So, and then you have little breaks. You have little breaks of when they go to preschool and things. And then you turn around and you go like, wow, that really went fast, but it didn't go fast while you were in it. But Mary Kay was always the sustaining power that you can be who you want to be. And you don't have to compete with anybody. And you can change your income. You can change your income in a day. You really can. If you know that if all of a sudden oh, next week I'm going to need a transmission, you can literally change your income by making some phone calls and getting out there, which is awesome. So it keeps you going.
Absolutely. So for any new consultants that may be watching, is there any advice you could share as they start their Mary Kay journey?
Yes, let go and let God. And then listen to those who have been there. They know. That's why Mary Kay invented the role of sales director and national sales director, because we know you're not going to experience, I promise, you're not going to experience anything that we have not experienced. And today it's so much easier with technology. I mean, it has its drawbacks, but I mean, just imagine when we were doing shows in the 80s, we had to call and get directions. Can you imagine that? Call and get directions. And they'd have to put their husband on the phone, and it was a big production. And I remember many times getting lost, you know what I mean? And not having a cell phone or GPS or whatever. But don't ever quit. Don't ever quit. And just ask for help. And for goodness sakes, don't reinvent the wheel. I mean, I'm finding that we went through a period of time where people weren't answering the phone. Now they are again. They want your personalized attention. They want you to care about them. I have older customers now that I go there and just check on them. And they may call me just for a lipstick because they really want to see me. And I fit them in somehow, and I'm emptying their trash and doing things because they've been forgotten. So it is just amazing how you can plant yourself, and yes, you get paid. You get paid all the time. You just don't see it. But don't ever quit and be persistent and read and shut the TV off and read. Get to positive situations. Listen to Mary Kay's audios and read her book and just keep reading. I mean, putting junk in is just going to produce junk out. And it's, you know, you do have to keep yourself so self-motivated. So when I ever feel like, I take a walk, pick up a good book, I say a good prayer, things come around. I always say your worst day at Mary Kay is better than the best day in corporate. It really is.
So in addition to, reading and taking walks, what do you do to keep yourself motivated and focused on your goals?
Sell the product. I mean, people come into this company closest to the product. They come into this company by seeing your passion. Don't prejudge people. You know, I remember when I was very young and, you know, I had all these little kids running around and I was like, I get to become a sales director. And I used to play It's Raining Men every day and change the words to It's Raining Recruits, and just to motivate myself. And it motivated my kids. They all thought I was crazy. You know, they were like, yeah, you know, whatever. So yeah, you do have to practice some motivation, and that is fun. You know, it's definitely fun.
It definitely sounds fun. So speaking of your children, and now you mentioned you have grandchildren, how have you managed to balance family and career throughout your life?
Well, I don't think you really ever have a balance. I think you're kidding yourself if you do, because that would mean you woke up, you had your list to do, and you didn't get the flat tire. You never got a flat tire. No one ever threw up when you're all dressed up going out. I remember being all dressed, ready to go, and I thought, oh, I can get that leaf on top of the pool, and went in 9 feet or 12 feet, totally dressed. You know what I mean? It was a little late for my appointment, but I made it
A little
after
bit.
all. So I don't think you should really try to strike for balance. I think you should try to just take every moment, whatever it is with your situation, and you know, enjoy that. And with my kids, they are my two daughters are the ones that have the babies, and they are one lives in Connecticut, and she has two, and the other one lives in Virginia. She used to live in Hawaii when he was military, and they're out of Hawaii now, and he's out of the military, so they're in Virginia. And then my two boys are here. One's in Philadelphia. He's very well traveled. And the youngest one, he's out there selling real estate. Very good cold caller because he was listening to me. You know, I was doing things, and it's interesting to listen to that. So you just do what you can and you enjoy and seize the moments that you have. I mean, the one good thing is the more you get up and up in Mary Kay, the more flexibility you get. You know what I mean? So you can take 3 days off, or you can take 4 days off, or you can travel and do a party while you're there. That's totally up to you. You don't have to work. We don't work 80 hours a week. I think anybody that does is thinking they work 80 hours a week, but no, we don't. We can control that. You know, one day I might work a little bit in the morning, take some afternoon time. It will all depend on what's going on.
Definitely.
So I think just try to strike joy. That's the best part.
So do you have any strategies in place for effectively managing your business?
Um, you know, I started practicing the miracle morning, because one of the things in the season of your life when no one's dependent on you anymore can be kind of daunting, because you're like, okay, what do I do? When you have that fit it in mentality, it's like, I don't have time, I got to get it done. But when you have the whole day, you're like, oh, I'll do that a little bit later. So I practice the morning miracle, the morning miracle morning. Um, Most of the time I'm pretty good at it, but first I take care of me and I go out, because if I don't do my exercise first, I'm going to find a reason not to. So I usually try to walk about a half an hour. If I'm really motivated, I go to the trail, which is about 10-15 minutes from me, and I'll actually do 5 miles. But
Oh, wow.
I'll do that a couple of times a week. Well, it's beautiful nature. It's near a stream, and it's just absolutely beautiful. And then I'll come back and I'll have my power hour of prayer, and then I try to read for a half an hour. I try to do what I do in the morning, and I do it at night too, except for the exercise and all that. I do the reading and the prayer at night too. So, because you want to relieve yourself of the day and be grateful and thankful. And so that helps keeps me motivated. And then I just, you know, have a list of what I'm going to do that day and who I'm going to see, and make sure I get my 2 or 3 bookings. And you know, I say, oh gosh, who needs the checkup facial that needed to reschedule, or who do I need I've got 20 referrals here. Let me do that, which is nice. Which is really great about today is we used to have to wait till a certain time of day to call people. You can text anytime. You can call anytime. Their phone's going to be off and they can get it later. So you don't have to wait till 7 o'clock. I think the women today, especially if they're working, they're just like, oh, the phone's ringing. I can't answer it. So, and don't take anything personally, for goodness sakes. I had a church meeting last night and one of the girls I had facialed and she went on the repair, missed 2 phone calls of mine and she said, Beth, I'm so sorry. And I go, oh, we'll talk about it later. And sometimes for some reason we're thinking they're avoiding us. She wasn't avoiding me. Her brother had a serious health issue. And I said, oh, Chloe, let me know his name. I'll pray for you. She goes, yes, let's connect again next week. So people are not avoiding you. So just tell your mind the opposite. Sometimes we see, I saw something about something I watch for Mary Kay every Sunday night. And it was, hey, Beth. And the first thing came is like, is somebody postponing? No. So we all go through that. We just have to tell our brains the right things. That would be like someone who had a full-time job if they went in every morning thinking the box was going to be on their desk and they were going to get fired. So we can't get fired at Mary Kay. That's a wonderful thing.
So I would love to know how you're preparing for the upcoming holiday season.
The upcoming holiday season. Oh, I love the holidays because girls, you can do your business and keep doing it up to Christmas Eve. My thing was when I had little kids, sometimes we think they need all of this stuff. I would do the slice and dice cookies. I mean, it really worked well. I remember my youngest daughter running down to my mother's. My mother used to live like on the other side of the street, like 4 houses down from me. And she told my mother we were making cookies. My mother was a baker. I'm not. I like to cook, but I don't like to bake. And my mother comes up with Kelly and she said, I heard you're baking cookies. I can't wait to see this. And I go, don't even say anything, mother. They don't know the difference. Okay, so I would prepare my customer base after years, and you're constantly building your customer base. I mean, you really have to when you get older because some move, some pass away. I mean, think about 36 years. A lot of my customers were in their 50s when I was 20 because they were my mom's friends. They're no longer here. But I have certain customers that buy from me every year, and they're the first people I go to because I say this is a limited edition. I dress them up a little bit. I go do customer visits. I've moved a couple times, so for me to do an open house anymore because I didn't want the responsibility of a big house anymore is really not what I do. I will have like last minute where people I haven't gotten to, I'll set some things up in my place and then they can come look at them. But I know what they're looking for. And it's really funny because they buy from themselves and they also buy the Christmas things. But I get them like September. I really do. Because I just go with a sense of urgency, like, June, I don't want you to miss out on this. I know you're gonna love this. And I have certain customers that spend anywhere from $500 to $1,000. I wish they all did, but they all don't. So it gives me a good jump for the holidays. And then I do nothing. I used to do the shrink wrap and all that. It's just too much time because I want my faces going in there. I want my parties going in there all at the same time and making sure I have a couple of things. Most of the time with technology, you can take pictures of things. And after I close everybody, because I want them on the skincare, I'll say, I want you to know I have a shopping service and all that. And I make, man cans and I make a couple of different things. And I usually get paid before I even deliver the products. Because they're my good customers and they want it taken care of. I search for those who have businesses and take care of their employees. I think if we think of it as we take a load off their mind, we take a load off their mind, guys. They don't really want to be shopping, especially men. Men is the next, men is a great place to go. And I have about 10 good ones. And I live in a complex now. And I just talk to the guys around here, like around Christmas. Like they'll walk in and I'll go, hey, Perry, do you need some holiday gifts? And he whips out like $200. And I said, give me a list. Who you need? My sister, my mother, and my girlfriend. And then I know what they're like, and I make them different things every year, and I wrap them real pretty, and there's that. So I think, and I wasn't born this way. This is many, many years. You realize that the only thing that can happen to you is someone can say no. And what's the big deal? It's like if you offered people a piece of gum, not everyone's going to say yes. It's the same thing to your service, but hey, some of those that say yes are unbelievable. So I do that. I make a little different gifts, and I'm big on getting the holiday look, planting that into the customer as I'm going through. I'll start talking about that now. September, October, November, December. I'm signing up people, and I can do them right at my place, or I can come to you. I am finding out that so many people have dogs and cats now, and they do not want to clean their house. So it's no problem with me because so many people come to me, and I'm okay with that. Last Friday night, I thought I was off, and I had plans to sit home and read, and I was pretty excited about that. And I got a text at 11 o'clock, and it was two sisters, and I said, hey, listen, we just happen to be free. Are you free? And I'm like, I'm free now. You know what I mean? So, and then $250 later, and a booking, and about 20 referrals. They were only here for an hour and a half. So
Oh my
I think,
goodness.
yeah, I think you just have to think of it a little bit differently. And you know what? You're sowing the seeds all the time. What Just because I make 10 calls today doesn't mean I'm going to get 10 appointments. And you have to go with what people want. Like I had one girl and she kept emailing me, and I kept calling her. I said, hey Beth, think about this. She wants to do email. Now I have her booked for Wednesday morning. So you just have to go with what works. And change is good, guys. Change is good. And that's coming from somebody at 36. When I hear directors say, oh, it was so much better, it really isn't. It's simpler. It's simpler now once you learn. And Christine, of all people, knows. She gets a lot of phone calls from me with Unitwise saying, how do I do this? How do I do that? I am not a computer geek at all.
Well,
So
we
I'm
are
okay.
always happy to help, certainly, and I love all of those ideas, but I especially love the talking to people, in your complex that just happen to live near you. That's such a clever, simple thing to do to get you that extra business. I love that.
Mhm.
So while you're implementing all these different things during the holidays, do you have any extra little tricks you use to get repeat business after the holidays are over?
Oh, sure. I always put free coupons in the packaging that I do. Now I do a lot of cute boxes that you can get, and just put a nice bow on them. Pink printing, they have great stickers. There's all kinds of things. And when people send me gifts, like if my son sends me flowers or something, I'm saving all that. And then I use it for a customer because I don't just do Christmas. I do birthdays, anniversaries. I have one husband that I text him like a week before and I said, just name the price, and 75, 100, 150. And the only time he doesn't get is for anniversary because they go out to dinner, but I can pretty much get every holiday. And if you're really savvy with your customers, they will tell you to do that because they would rather get their Mary Kay and more Mary Kay. Because be smart. If a husband says 150, don't give her everything that she uses. Give her something she uses, and then introduce something new to her, because then she's like, oh, that fragrance is amazing. And then she goes to work and somebody smells it. And I do coach my customers to get me referrals. When people say something, I have cards that I give them. And then I say to them, for when someone calls me for you, that's a check that you get like $10 worth of free product in your next order. So using that, because you want to, my philosophy of Mary Kay is I want them away from the cosmetic counter. I don't want them even going to the cosmetic counter. And I think what a lot of consultants do is we're just so happy, so happy for them to buy the repair. Well, where's their mascara coming from? Where's their lipstick coming from? Like I have a booking in September that I have to follow up on, and I just met her paying property taxes. And she was like, oh, no, 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 I don't wear makeup. And I said, oh, that's a pretty lipstick and eyeshadow you have on. And she was like, oh, yeah, you're right. It's just when I just wouldn't do all the skincare and all that. And I said, hey, listen, just humor me. You don't even have to answer the phone or answer the text. And she answered the phone and she said, I said I didn't do that. She goes, but I said, well, what do you like? And she's like, eyeliner, lipstick. And I said, oh, we could do a special glamour look. You guys, I'm going to sell her the skincare too, don't you? And so she said, can you call me mid-September once I get the boys back to school? And I said, okay. So a no is maybe a maybe, so um, you just have to. I always see the positive in what someone says to me, and then I always, until someone says no thank you. And you guys, I'm telling you, I very get rid I don't get people that are really nasty. And if I do, I'm just so kind to them and just say, oh, thank you so much for your opinion. I hope you have a wonderful day. And then let it go. I mean, I guess that's I'm one of seven and I had four children. If your children said yes to you all today, well, then that'd be great. I mean, how many times did they say no? And how many times did they ask you for something? 3,000? Can I have that cookie? Can I have that cookie? No, no, no. Yes. So I think if you kind of just revert it a little bit around, um, you will find that it is wonderful. And it's what you think about, you bring about.
Definitely. And you've shared such amazing advice today, especially for the holidays. Were there any additional holiday tips you'd like to share?
Well, sure, you can be getting a lot of leads from, we don't sell at craft fairs or vendor events or anything else, but they're like Labor Day weekend, I'm working 8 hours, 4 hours one day, 4 hours the next, doing Oktoberfest. And we'll just be getting names. We don't sell anything, but it's at a big festival. So you get in free when you're a vendor. I mean, except for you pay for your table, but whoop-de-doo, you're getting a lot of different names. So I think collecting names and having where I used to do something, and I'm going to restart it again, is if I sold a husband like $100 worth of Mary Kay, I would put a $20 gift certificate in there for a makeover during the week or two between Christmas and New Year's, because I used to hold New Year's facials. Like I would let them come to my house at the time I was married, I had small kids, and I would say to my husband, listen, take these kids out. Here's $25, take them to McDonald's, and all day I'm going to be holding those makeovers so they can go to their New Year's Eve or whatever they were going to. To me, peace in a video when you have four little kids was great, or we would go to a dinner, just dinner and come home. But we could go at like 8 o'clock. But I was done all that. And there was days where I made 500, 600, 700 because you don't think just because they got 100 and they had a $20 gift certificate, they're going to only spend that $20. Uh-uh. They're going to want everything you have, and then there's a fragrance, and they go home, they slip their dress on, and they're ready. So I think you want to carry it through that whole time. And then also, if they're going, it's too busy around the holidays, then get them in January. January and February, there's such a lull of people's self-esteem and confidence and everything else because they busted their butt for this one day. So I think that if you just use, your Mary Kay opportunity, and don't think that you're bothering people. I mean, you're really not. I mean, if they're the kind that are bothered, then so be it. Move on. Move on. You have a great service. I mean, I try to remember years ago when Wanamakers in Philadelphia, or it was one in my town too, that you could go to the tea room, but you could go upstairs and go through the red curtains and get a wonderful facial. And I think I had to pay like $100, which is a lot of money in the 80s or 90s. Well, you're doing the same thing for free. It's up to them what they want, if they want. I always say to people, I don't take it personally. If this is not what you want, that's fine. But I wanted the opportunity to show you how great it is. And guys, 99% of the time, they're going to buy because Mary Kay speaks for itself. People get it on their face and they love it. Plus, it is the most reasonably priced product with 100% money back guarantee. Where can you get it? I'm a great advertisement, aren't I?
You're fabulous. It's great. So I know you mentioned earlier, of course, you use Unitwise. Could you tell us a little bit about how Unitwise helps you with your business?
Oh, it's wonderful. First of all, it keeps me um, connected with all my customers. I can email it from them. I have people like Christine, and man, she has put up with so much for me. And I've gone through two assistants. And the last one was like, she's a teacher, so she'll come back a little bit part-time. So I'm learning more and more. It is hard to sometimes get an old dog to learn new tricks, and we kind of fight it because I'd rather be with the people any day than be at my computer. And I do believe with Mary Kay, you need to go to see the people. You really do. But Unitwise it keeps like my customers intact, my unit intact. There's just all kinds of things that you can do on it. But I love Unitwise's customer service. You cannot beat this customer service. Christine or other people, I think there's like probably hundreds of people there behind her, but we're only seeing her and I because she's in the studio. But it's just been fantastic. It really has been fantastic for me.
Well, thank you. We are always happy to help you. And thank you again for joining us today. I thank you from everyone at Unitwise. We are so grateful that you've shared all of this wonderful advice with all of our viewers. And for everyone watching us today, thank you for joining. Be sure to follow so that you never miss out on any of the upcoming events and learning opportunities that we have to offer. But thank you and have a fabulous day.
Thanks. Thank you, Christine.
Absolutely.
Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.